Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Powerful Man Show. What you're going to hear now is a continuation of part one. In part two, Tim's going to go into more details of what he's seen with business owners just like you, dropping out of their head and into their heart. So without further ado, let's get it going.
And that might be caffeine. Caffeine is a big stimulant that can shifts me anyway from my heart to my head, depending on how much I have. I can have 1 cup and I can usually, balance it. 2 cups, I can become erratic. I'm in my head. I'm reactive. I'm chasing things. I'm definitely not ahead of the game in that place. So caffeine's one. Been on your mobile phone. Past a set for me. If I'm on my mobile phone, I turn my phone off at 8 p.m. If I'm on it, even if it's available for people to text me, I can see it flashing. That's enough to get me into a certain mode of working, right? So my phone is off, so screen time is a big one. Another one can be how busy your calendar is. As a famous saying, show me your calendar, I'll show you your priorities. You can also say the same is true for show me your calendar and I'll show you where you're operating from. Because if you don't have any space in your calendar to be, and every single activity in there is jam-packed back to back, then it's going to be very difficult for you to be in an inspired, joyful state as you go about your day. Now, for some of you guys, there may be a transition in your schedule to get to this point. You may have to delegate certain things. You may have to set certain processes up in place. And it's interesting as I'm kind of just going through this. I've got a bottle of coconut water right now in front of me, and the thing that's staring at me on the side, it says, "Protect what's good." And that's essentially what you're going to be doing in your schedule, protecting what's good, and what's good is you and your energy. So you get to then delegate. You get to really increase your boundaries. So I actually am doing a little 7-day challenge right now off the back of the training that you and I did, Doug, with the guys in the Facebook community. Go from evening hell to evening heaven. And we used, the mechanism we shared with the guys was the filter, right? The fuck yes filter, essentially. So I asked a few guys in the group if they wanted to do a challenge for 7 days. Some raised their hand. They didn't know what it was going to be. And I put them all into like a little messenger thread together, introduced them to the filter, and I said, I want you to, I invite you to use it for the next 7 days. And essentially what the filter is that you will say no to anything and everything that isn't a fuck yes. Because the reason for that is that when you say yes to things that are really a no, and you allow things to bleed into your life and into your day that do not fill you up, they're going to, by default, drain you down, right? And it's very difficult for you to walk through the door in an evening with energy and being excited about spending the evening with your wife and kids if you've spent all day completely out of your zone, getting pulled down by tasks that drain you. It's kind of like sport. You don't see the centre forward playing left back. There's a reason for that, right? He plays in his zone where his skill sets suit him best. It's the same for you within your role as the organization. And these guys, they only started using it yesterday. And one of the guys, I'm just going to share with you what he said with one of his wins. He said, I asked him last night how it went for the first day. And he said, fuck yes, I did. Did what I needed to do at work today and left at 5:30 to get home and take over kid duty from the wife, and then had a nice dinner with her. I could have stayed at work until 9, as I can always find things to do. But none of it was a fuck yes. I hit my goal. I was out. The result was an appreciative wife who sat snuggled next to me on the couch at night. Win. That's all because he chose to become aware of what his energy was, how he, the state he was in, say no, so honor his boundaries, which by default honors his self-worth. And when he does that, he then builds his confidence to command bigger fees in deals. We've had this with guys in the Brotherhood, right? One guy was selling his business. The company that was buying his company said, right, we want to keep you on as a consultant. We'll pay you, 100K for the year. We want you to attend a quarterly meeting and do this number of hours. He said, no, I want $1 million a year and I want to do 2 hours a month. They said, yes. He got his deal. But that all came from a place of abundance within him and a place of self-worth, knowing what his energy essentially was worth. And it wasn't a fuck yes, so he said no. And you'll be amazed what you can actually receive when you say no to the things that aren't in alignment with you, rather than saying yes out of neediness and desperation. So become aware of your energy, use the filter so you can say no to things that are not a fuck yes. By becoming aware of your energy, things like caffeine and screen time, and even people, conversations that you're in, projects that you're part of, places that you go, places that you don't go, clothes that you wear, the car that you drive, the environment in the house that you live, everything, anything that doesn't fill you up has got to go. It's got to go. Otherwise, it's a reflection. It's mirroring back to you. If your life is an expression of who you are, then what is your life saying about you right now? Is it reflecting back to you that you are living a substandard life, ignoring your true desires, that you're settling really? Or is it mirroring back to you that you are bending the world over and taking it for everything that it has to give you in this very moment? What's your health saying about that? What's your relationship saying about that? So, by default, guys, if you do choose to take this approach, you're going to be in your heart. It's not a feminine thing. By definition, it is. But in reality, what it really means for you is a higher level of productivity, a deeper level of fulfillment in your life, and by default, increased levels of energy that you can take into your marriage, your sex life, your health. And it's just a glorious cycle. Instead of the cycle of create, conquer, next, it's kind of like the cycle of feel, act, get feedback, or feel, act, and receive. I'm not doing very well at explaining that, but you get the gist, right? It's a complete contrast. And with it, one of them drains your cup, empties it, and the other one fills your cup up. Two very different things. And from there, there's a whole ton of different practices we could go into, Doug, at that point, from breath work to, there's tons that we do with the guys, right? But I think without knowing anything about the listeners, that'd be a place to start.
So what I'm hearing, it's awesome, Tim. Thanks for sharing with everybody. And so really what you're saying is, most of us, we go through life and we think of, hey, if we do the action, right, then we get the result, then we get to be the man that we want to be, versus be, do, have, which is what we teach the guys. First you be it, right? Then you get to do it. Then you get to have it, right? Versus do, have, be. So it's almost like the formula, what you're saying, is backwards, and it's flipped on its head is what you would say. But the formula is backwards here. And, first it's a state of being, right? Presence and being there and being true to yourself. Is it as a fuck yes or a fuck no? Then you get to do whatever it is you get to do, and then you get to have it. So be, do, have versus have, do, be. You said it a different way, but that boils down to a very simple formula that these guys can digest.
Yeah, outside in versus inside out, right?
Yep.
Yeah, completely. It's very counterintuitive because obviously we taught the other way, outside in. We're taught that our entire lives, right? But how's that working out for you? Waiting to be happy or delaying it's crazy, right? We delay our happiness and put barriers between us and the thing we really want. And regardless of whether you want to have the house or the car or the marriage, really what you want beneath all of that is a certain emotion, a certain feeling, right? It's not the thing, it's not even the marriage, it's the connection, the belonging, the love. And so often it's so easy to say, okay, well, when I get to 1 million or 2 million or 10 million, that's when I'll be able to have those things. It just doesn't happen because that's a mindset, right? And then it just keeps getting delayed and delayed and delayed as you achieve and you hit milestones and the goalposts are moved and moved and moved and moved. There's a lot of conditioning that gets to be broken in this shift. Guys can feel lazy. It's kind of like, Tim Ferriss's title of the 4-hour work week, right? Ditch that, escape the 9 to 5 and join the new rich. The new rich is essentially people who have time and space and energy. We talk about the 5 freedoms. It really is defining what success, redefining rather, what success means to you. You might have thought that it was all about the money and the cash in the bank, then you realize you don't have the energy, the time, or the space to enjoy it. Well, what was the point in that, in doing all that, and waiting 10 years to then actually start enjoying it? Good friend of mine, I've shared this before, his father, Christmas Eve year before last. Right, I say selling the businesses, I'm going to start living, gets up from the restaurant, walks out, and has a heart attack. So yeah. I'd love to hear from some of you guys if you do choose to make this shift. It's not going to happen overnight. The shift isn't going to be perfect, just like anything in life. There's going to be a journey that you take. And if you're committed, you'll get there. If you're not, then obviously you won't, just like business, right? If you're committed, you'll grow it. If you're not, then you won't. And when you feel those urges to come up, those stories of telling you that you're lazy, you should be doing more, lean into those. Don't cover them up with working harder or pouring a cocktail or eating some food. Lean into it, because there's going to be a lot of gifts in that process if you take them. If not, those gifts are going to be left unwrapped on the outside of your periphery, and you may never open them. And you didn't realize that all along, the very thing you've been working so hard to achieve was wrapped up in front of your face, left unwrapped. But it's up to you, right?
Beautifully said. So, Tim, what are a couple things these guys can do? Obviously I'm taking something from this, but these guys listening to this that are relating can do today. What's an action step, right? We're men of action. What's something we can do right now?
Set some alarms on your phone, starting at 10 a.m. to go off every 2 hours, and have them say, where are you coming from? Question mark. When that goes off, I just want you to take 30 seconds, 10 seconds, just to stop and answer the question. And just notice, where are you coming from? Are you busy and chaotic and anxious and frantic? By default, you're coming from your head. Or are you inspired? Are you smiling? Are you, even if you're getting stuff done, you get it done through inspiration or through force? And start paying attention to that, because that simple act of awareness will then, it all starts there, and then you can obviously introduce certain things to change it. But yeah, start there. It's simple to do.
Awesome. Well, guys, you heard it right there from Tim, the powerful man Matthews. Tim is probably the person I think that most exemplifies this question. And, when you and I connected years ago, Tim, it's what we first started talking about. Gentlemen, if any of this resonates with you and you're ready to take the next step and get more lessons from Tim, Arthur, and our master coaches, go over to thealphareset.com. That's thealphareset.com, where you can learn more about our flagship program over there and learn more how we help men just like you. Until next time, guys, go ahead and take action, but also be, do, have. We'll see you on the Powerful Man Show.